So we've been talking about inspiration, and I just had to bring one of my favorite people who inspires me, Natalie. She actually works on my team, and I've introduced her. It's been a while, though.
It has been a while. I think it was my first year.
Yeah.
When we first started together.
So Natalie, the day I met her, I knew I had to hire her. So Natalie actually was in an accident when you were 16.
Yes.
And she was skiing and she broke her neck, and you can't see very well, but Natalie is in a wheelchair. She broke her neck and you've been paralyzed from the neck down.
Yes.
And I knew she's just got this amazing warrior attitude. And I asked her, one of the things that I asked you early on when I met you was, how long did it take you to get over feeling devastated or like depressed about it? Because that's a really young age to go through that. And she looked at me and she was like, never. I never was. She's like, I was just mad because the doctor said I would never walk again. And I thought, how dare him? He had no right to tell me that.
Yeah, super competitive, as you can tell.
So I was so blown away by her, and she just inspires people everywhere she goes. I mean, you can kind of see why. She's very spunky and perky. And so she ended up going to USC, living by herself, 2 things she was told she would never do.
Absolutely.
And you actually can walk across the room with a walker.
Absolutely.
And
stand up and drive a car.
Ride your bike and
work full time. I have a boyfriend. People never thought that was going to be an option either. I mean, just
why
crazy,
I have no idea.
Crazy stuff. But I mean, I think you and I talk a lot about inspiration, and that's kind of why we're here today, to talk a little bit about inspiration and what other people can do and what the energy you're putting out into the world.
But your thinking is so backwards from what people think that it should be or would be.
Oh, absolutely.
It's backwards.
I told you my story. You know, this weekend I was at a restaurant and I saw a friend that I hadn't seen in a while, and he came up to me and he was just like, how are you so happy? How are you so fulfilled? I don't understand. You've lost so much and there's so many things you can't do. And I'm like, well, yeah, there's a lot of things that a lot of people can't do, but I try to focus on the things that I can do. Right. And I think I love that. That's a huge jump. But it's once you're able to mentally make that jump, you start feeling a lot more fulfilled from the inside out as opposed from the outside in. Right.
It's just awesome. So I wanted you to join me because, I mean, you live that.
Right.
So you're just very positive. I very rarely, other than when you're like really physically ill,
right,
seen you ever like sort of down.
Right.
I don't see her down, like ever.
Yeah.
So I just, I mean, it's not like you're not normal. You're not like an automaton. But I just wanted to really bring you out and like talk to you about that, because I know I talk to people in my community about thinking about inspiration as an action.
Right.
But you actually do that on a regular basis.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Like, what is something you do on a regular basis that helps you? Like, where do you get your inspiration from?
I think every day it kind of changes, but I think for me, I try to focus on some of the people that I've met in my life. And I know you and I have talked a little bit about not necessarily making inspiration one person, one thing, one object, but really making inspiration as a whole. And I think for me, it's some of the friends that I've met along my journey that have no use of their arms. They can't feed themselves. They can't drive a car, they can't work, and I try to focus on things like that really put things into perspective for me on a daily basis when I'm like, I wish I could go run a mile like I used to love running. I wish I was able to do that after work today. But, after work I'm going to focus on XYZ that's going to leave me fulfilled and not empty, as, that running thought obviously isn't in my path right now. Doesn't mean it's not going to be forever, but some thoughts like that I try to flip, which is, it's hard on some days, but on most days it works for me.
That's awesome. And I know one thing I do is I try to do something for someone.
Absolutely.
So one of the things, I know a lot of people think, and I've actually had people, and it's very sweet of you, you write in and you're like, oh, you spend so much time helping us, and oh, God bless you, whatever. And I know that's so sweet that you say that. And I hate to actually admit this, but a little bit of it is selfish.
100%.
I love when you guys write to me and you give me your stories about how something that
Absolutely.
that I say or write or talk about helps you, and you send me a picture, or you have no idea how inspiring that is for me.
Oh.
So that's almost like an investment back in yourself. When you help someone, it's an investment back in yourself. I've been helping my sister recently, and she got on her feet,
right,
and now she's working 2 jobs and she's doing amazing, and she got off food stamps.
It's incredible.
But that's like a huge investment in yourself, right? So
right,
because you get inspiration back.
Absolutely.
When you put it back out there.
And I know for me, a lot of the times I meet people who have gone through so many different struggles. I mean, not necessarily becoming paralyzed at a young age like myself, but, you know, I've struggled with debilitating anxiety. I've struggled with severe depression after a loved one. I've suffered with addiction, and, you know, I've gotten to a place where I didn't know if I could go on, and I looked at somebody like you who, you know, lost XYZ and still walks out of the door with a smile on her face every day to work, and I just wonder how you do it, and I just want to let you know that that is inspiring to me. And for me, I'm like, I'm just going to work and I'm living my life, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm just keeping on. But I think your message and how you resonate with people is just, it's just amazing. And I'm happy to be here.
That's why I have to have you on my team, because I mean, you are amazing. But that almost, what you just said to me, almost the way I think about it, it just sort of hit me, and it's hit me for myself in the past too. There's a responsibility in that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I see that as a responsibility.
Absolutely.
Because people could look at you and go, oh, after that accident, look at what happened. Like, she's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, and they could see you almost as the opposite. Or they could go, oh, poor Natalie, look what happened to her after her accident. She just went down the tubes.
Oh, absolutely.
There's like a bit of a responsibility there.
There is a responsibility.
Because instead, they look up to you as a way to pull themselves up.
Absolutely. And I think that there was a lot of times, I mean, even in the medical field, once you sustain an injury like this, they automatically put you on antidepressants.
They categorize you.
They put you in a box. They put you on antipsychotics because they know that you're probably going to be depressed. You're probably going to need therapy. You're probably going to become addicted to certain things.
And all of that is somewhat understandable.
It is understandable, but to a degree, I didn't want to be put in that box.
Right.
And mentally, that took a lot of challenge for me to flip that switch and know that every day I wake up, I'm still on this earth. I have a purpose. Purpose may not be what I thought it was at 16, but
maybe it's bigger.
But maybe it's bigger. That's what my mom always told me.
Maybe it's bigger.
And maybe it's much bigger. And so that was
I think of Bethany Hamilton, you know, she lost her arm. And in the shark, it's stunning to me. And I love the one line in the movie when she said, I don't need easy, I just need possible.
Right.
I love that line.
I know, goosebumps.
Goosebumps. You know.
But exactly, I mean, her purpose was, she thought it was just surfing. But it was so much bigger than that. So much bigger than that. She's an amazing story.
So I love this idea of using a way to become inspired, using action steps as a way to become inspired.
Right.
So just like, you know, people say, well, love isn't just a feeling, it's an action.
Right.
Inspiration isn't just a feeling, it's an action. I really believe that.
And
because I have suffered severe depression in the past.
And it's a responsibility.
It's a responsibility.
It's accountability, it's responsibility.
Pay it forward.
It's something that you have to hold near and dear to you, and you have to act on it every single day. It's not something that just comes because I wake up in the morning and I demand.
And I deserve it.
I deserve this, I deserve respect. Well, what you put out is what you're ultimately going to get back in the world. That's
so agree
to my experience. But
so agree.
Let's talk about those steps.
Yeah. So your favorite things to do? So one of the things I tell people is do something for others, because that's how I pulled myself out of depression ultimately was first I started doing kind things for myself. For me, that was church. For me, that's doing an exercise and sleep and physically taking care of my body.
Absolutely.
I started spiritually taking care of my body, eating healthy. And then I started, I sort of couldn't see past myself at first.
Right.
But so I started taking care of myself. Then I started taking care of other people. Like I started to really help other people. I'm a nurse. So, you know.
It's in the blood.
Yeah. And when funny, people would say to me, how do you do your job? Because you go and I worked in one of the units that was a really hard unit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're taking care of people who have, you know, diarrhea and who have blood and guts, literally blood and guts everywhere. I never saw it that way.
Right.
I always saw it as I'm helping people maintain dignity at the hardest times in their life.
And fun fact, Tana actually worked at the same ICU
that you were taken to.
That I was taken to.
Yeah.
Full
Crazy,
circle.
Right?
Crazy, full circle.
But I see it as helping people maintain dignity, and that's in a way giving back. And even now, my way of giving back is giving back to my community. Right. But that is, I love doing it for you, but I also love doing it for me, and I'm just being honest about that because I get it back. I get it back every time you guys write to me, and you send me some cool thing that has happened in your life.
And we look at your photos of your dramatic transformations, and we just
are in awe.
We are in awe, and we're so proud. So
yeah,
keep them coming.
So those are some of the things I do. I do practice meditation and prayer every day. I write down the things that I'm grateful for. It's so much. I mean, now it's just like a habit. Now it's like a thing. It's like brushing my teeth.
Right.
But so those are my things.
Right.
What are some of your favorite things?
Well, I'm a writer by nature. Tana, you know this. I'm a writer by nature, so I love to write down things that I'm grateful for. When I first started at USC my freshman year, and I was missing home, and there was things that it was an adjustment for me, obviously, but I think there was a couple things that I was really missing. And so what I did was I bought a journal, and I called it my gratitude journal. And every day I wrote down little things that I was grateful for. And I'm talking little things like so-and-so opened the door for me. And you're thinking, okay, somebody opened a door for you. That's nothing. But for me, I got a backpack on my lap. I have a water bottle on my side. I have hands that work semi-okay and on a good day. And that means a lot to me. So focusing on little things like that were just huge for me. And then at the end of the day, if I was feeling upset about something, I'd reflect back on the journal and see, look at all the things that I have to be grateful for, small or large. And I don't do that every day anymore, and I probably should, but I definitely do mentally take notes of that.
Right. So do I.
I definitely mentally take notes of that, and I feel like that is super helpful to me when I'm having a moment, because we're all human, right?
Yep.
We all have moments.
We all have them.
Not so greatness and greatness, but that's one thing that I do. And then another thing that I really, really enjoy doing is I sponsor people in my mind. So I sponsor people in my mind, and I have certain people that I look out for. I have a neighbor that is younger. She's 5. And so what I do is I'll take her out, or I will send her things. So by sending her things, I mean like a teddy bear, something very, very small, maybe a little book to read, $3 Amazon Prime item. But I take people like that, and I look at people and where they need certain things in their life, and I try to interject as best I can. And it's so easy with Amazon now.
I know.
They make it too easy for us. We don't have to go anywhere. It's awesome.
I love that. So it's really not hard to take those few minutes.
Absolutely not. And I know for you, I mean, you've taught me a lot about meditation and how powerful that could be internally. And you know me, I'm crazy. I'm all over the place.
You are me.
You
are me in a younger. I met you, and I'm like, oh, she's a younger version of me.
No, but for me, my mind, it was so hard to turn off my mind.
Monkey mind, yeah.
Monkey mind. It was so hard to turn off my mind, and you've taught me a lot of steps, even just in my car after work if it's been a long day.
Just a grounding,
a grounding. Turn the music off, close your eyes, take some deep breaths. Look at your clock for about 5 minutes, and you feel a lot better.
Yeah.
And so that, of course, we talk a lot about, meditation and mindfulness and how powerful that is. But I think remembering that, you're very, very, very important, and you need to treat yourself as so.
So I think the most important thing, I can honestly say this about you, is you live, like your life is an inspiration. And I think that that's something that people need to think about. I try. There are days where it doesn't work. I'm in traffic in my car. Thank God I don't actually say it out loud to people, but I have a little bit of Tourette's when I'm in my car. So it's really bad.
We live in Southern California.
So it can be really bad. And then I feel really bad, and I actually do my little prayer and I apologize for it. It's like it just pops out. But it's because that frustration climbs in. We are human. But mostly you try to live your message. Right. And your life is an inspiration to people. And I think that that's the main thing you can do, is what are you doing to live your life as an inspiration to others?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I think the big takeaway as well is, what are you putting in the world that you would like to get back? So if you're waking up every day and another grind, I got to get my coffee, I'm in a rush, I'm on my phone.
You hear people do that. I'll get on the phone with people. It's why I have such a strict rule in my house about no drama in my house. You can call me and say what you need to say after 9. You can't call me before 9.
I know, and I love that.
You just can't. Because there are certain people in my life who I love them dearly, but it's just part of their being. They don't even notice that they're doing it.
No.
And I love them dearly, but the first thing they do is they don't notice their language. Mm-hmm. So they'll call and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. You would not believe my life. It's just it's just this, and you just instantly hear it. It's unbelievable how terrible things are right now. And they just go through this whole list. And I'm like, I haven't even said hello, good morning. You have no idea what's going on in my life.
And it completely changes the trajectory of the rest of your day.
But I've stopped them, and I'm like, did it ever occur to you that part of why those things are happening? Mm-hmm. And they get so angry when you say it. Yeah. But it's because you actually say every day that that's what's happening in your life. And
yeah, you're focusing on it.
Right.
And I think reflection is, as we wrap it up, reflection is huge for people. And I think it's so hard to look at yourself and say, gosh, maybe I'm kind of the issue today.
To be introspective is a huge gift to yourself. To be honest and introspective,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the biggest gift you can give yourself.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's
Yep,
hard.
but
And
it's
it takes work.
Not
for
as
sure.
hard as the alternative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
I
yeah.
love you so much.
I
Thank
love
you
you
for doing
more.
this. It's awesome. So do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for others. Take a moment to reflect on what you might be able to improve on yourself. And I love your idea of like picking the sponsor, even if it is quietly and you don't tell them.
Yeah. You don't need
Great.
to tell them.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it. Have a great day.
Have a great day.